Welcome to Wine and Cheese, number 31. We're full steam ahead. It's like we're on a freight train and it's never coming back. I think that's who's the guy with the Heartbreakers? Tom Petty. I think that's a Tom Petty song I just stole, and we'll get the rights. Don't worry about it. We're here tonight, undisclosed location. I want to thank Bergeron Freight Services and Wannabe Volleyball, as always. We've never won a tournament, but we never lose the party. Tonight, basically, for a crazy string of occurrences, I have my best friend here tonight. All the other ones are dead, so he had to step up and come on in. It's Woody Dantagan. I got Woody here tonight. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm glad you came to hang out with me tonight. I've been, obviously at some point you were going to come on and do the show with me. You hadn't yet, and you texted me earlier, quote, "I'm petrified about tonight."
I am.
Is that what?
Excited and petrified.
Why is that?
Because I have no idea what you're going to ask me about.
You don't think I would ever railroad or put you in a bad situation, would you?
I'm sure you would.
Man, I started going back to the gym today.
Sorry.
I haven't been in the gym probably in about a year now. It's funny what being on watching yourself on camera will do to you.
I'm sure. I can't wait to see it.
Right before we went on, you were like, "Does the camera make me look fat?" I was
Yeah,
like, "Yes,
yeah.
it makes you look really
Yeah.
fat."
Camera adds 10 pounds to you.
So I've been watching the last couple of episodes of this, and really all I can do is just stare at myself and think, "Oh my, you're fat and you're out of shape and your legs are skinny." And so finally, I saw the first cut of the Bobby Herner interview from last week, and I was like, "I got to get back in the gym."
You stare at yourself?
Yeah, because you're like when the show's being edited, it's kind of keeps going back and forth, and you're looking at your own face, and you're like, "Man,
You're looking at your own fat face.
is that what the goatee is for?"
Absolutely.
When did you decide to do the goatee?
When I couldn't grow hair on my head anymore.
Well, you can grow some hair. You just can't grow enough hair.
I can. When it gets long enough, I look like a microphone, basically. So.
Nice. I saw you on the cover of one of the Morning Life records, and it was growing into a microphone.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So Woody, I made a little joke about losing friends, but it's one of the reasons that you and I have kind of become closer and become really close friends. I mean, you're pretty much, other than maybe one or two people, you're the closest friend I have on the planet. What's it like being friends with me?
It's terrible.
No, really.
It's not bad at all, dude. You're a good dude.
I
love you.
I know you do. I know you do love me, so that's why they can all suck it, because we know that. But I would imagine you get a fair amount of, "Why do you hang out with this dude?"
Not really. I mean, my closest friends will be my closest friends forever.
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about it.
I just know, most of my friends are usually getting nothing but negative stuff about me, so I was hoping maybe you weren't.
I don't think you're a negative dude at all.
Yeah. I do rub people the wrong way, but I'm working on that.
I'm sure, but you're honest, and I like that.
You've been watching the show?
Somewhat, yes.
What you think so far?
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's been good. I want to.
It's good at certain points.
And then?
I mean, you finally got a real guest to come out here. The other 30 can suck it.
What do you? Well, the first 15 were the same person, so that dude's gonna be sucking a lot of dick.
I'm kidding. Which
I actually have to make a little announcement. The guy that I started the podcast with a long time ago, Mark, did the first 15 episodes with me. Him and I had a falling out. He and I had a falling out. We kind of been talking lately. He is going to come back on the show. Not on a permanent basis, but Mark will be coming back on the show. I think we've decided to book him on number 50. And I think that'll be interesting. Anybody who hasn't gone back and listened to the first 10, 15 episodes to see who I started with and why we don't do it anymore, obviously he and I won't be able to sit here without addressing those type of things. So,
but a bit of an anniversary episode.
Exactly.
Which is cool.
Exactly. And who knows? I may end up wanting to have him back more often if he wanted to.
Right.
I will not ever go on any of his shows because, that's just not.
That's just asking for trouble.
That's just asking for trouble, Woody.
Right?
So Woody, haven't had you on here before. Let's kind of talk about you're a kind of one of the 1%ers. You play an instrument and you do it for a living, and that's all you do.
Yes.
Is that really awesome, or is it too rough that you wish you would have done something else in the beginning?
No, I think it's great. I love my job.
Do you?
Yeah.
And
Because I get to teach kids how to play drums, and I play drums and I sell drums, and
How many students do you have?
I counted right before school got out. So like last week, I was up to like 43 a week.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that?
Since 1997. I taught like in 1997. I graduated high school in 95. 97, I started teaching kids at Rummel High School in their band room. And then I got hired by Ray Franson's Drum Center in 99 and started teaching there.
What percentage of people that come and take lessons for you would you say have no chance ever of ever being able to play the drums proficiently?
Proficiently or professionally?
Proficiently.
Probably like 20%.
Oh.
Anybody can play drums. It's whether or not you're going to sit down and practice.
Yeah.
It's an instrument that is very physically demanding.
Speaking of that, we're in a band together, and I cannot remember a time where we didn't end a gig and we would come back to the stage to break the stage down, and you say every time, I'm really glad that I picked up the drums to play, because you're loading out and it takes you forever.
It's the worst part about playing drums.
Is carrying them around?
Yeah. It's because you're the first guy there to set up usually, and you're the last guy to leave.
Yeah, but you get to hang out with me, so that's a that's got to be at least a little plus, right?
Right.
When did you know? What age did you start playing the drums at?
I started playing in first grade. In the grammar school programs when I was younger, you could start playing in first grade.
Okay.
When I was in kindergarten, I played the recorder, which was like a whistle instrument.
Oh, dude, I used to murder Mary Had a Little Lamb on that thing. I did.
And literally, I remember the concert at the end of the year. It literally sounded like 100 cats fucking. That's what the concert sounded like.
Just a whole bunch of recorders.
Oh yeah, it was awful. But I remember my brother, who's 8 years older than me, making me listen to Led Zeppelin 2 on 8-track. Probably when I was about 6 or 7. And I heard Whole Lotta Love.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, I want to play drums.
So was there ever a moment where you made a conscious decision that said in your mind, I'm gonna play drums for the rest of my life and I'm not gonna do anything else? Do you ever consciously remember doing that?
It was probably when I was a lot older. I played at Rummel High School in their marching band till I was about, 17 or 18, and then I went to UNO to be a high school history teacher is what I majored in, secondary education.
Really?
Yeah, and then I did my first class observation at Abramson High School in New Orleans East. And I was there for about 20 minutes, and I was like, there's no fucking way that I'm gonna teach high school kids.
Yeah,
like,
that's...
with 30 kids in a classroom and there was just no way.
That's brutal.
So at that point, I was like, all right, I'm playing in a band, and I'm good at the drums. Let me see if I can get some students together. And then I was able to get, as soon as I put an ad out, I was like at 15 students in like 2 weeks. And it's all cash, cash money. Or
all
check or
cash.
whatever.
Hopefully nobody from the government's watching this, because I'm quite sure you're not claiming that stuff.
I love you.
I do.
I love being on your show. It's been awesome.
It's fun.
See you later.
Well, speaking of that, so at the time you were in a band. It was called the Tomatoes, right?
No, this was, when I first started teaching, I was in a band with F. Shice called the Newberry Makers. It was
Newberry
me,
Makers.
George, Jack Mealy, Alan Maxwell, and Derek Hernandez.
And I guess that didn't work out, and you eventually got into a band, Tomatoes?
Yes. Well, I was in Metric Nut, which was like a metal band.
Yeah, the metal band.
all the while teaching and stuff. And then I got into the Tomatoes.
Have you ever thought that any band that you've ever been in on an original side, did you ever have the feeling this is the one, we're gonna make it? We're probably gonna sign a record deal and this could be a living. Have you had any bands like that?
The Tomatoes.
The Tomatoes.
Yeah, they
Y'all-
were pretty much the only one that I.
Y'all were together about 10 years, right?
Yeah, something like that.
What brings that to an end? This is what I remember about the Tomatoes. I remember the last year that y'all played. I remember you going on tour with the Meat Puppets. I think you played a show with Soul Asylum. And I think you finished another record. How does something like that just disappear into thin air?
To be honest with you, I don't really know. You know, we were playing together. I was married at the. We were married. Me and Lindsay were married in 2007, and I was still able to tour a lot, even with my work schedule and my student schedule. And then it just got to a point where everybody was moving in a different direction. Lindsay got pregnant.
Lindsay is your wife. I just
Yes.
want to be clear about that. And we are going to talk about Lindsay because one thing that is special about you is the relationship that you have with your wife. And your wife is one of the most interesting, insane, deranged, beautiful, awesome women I have ever met.
She is a peach.
So when Skylar, you have a daughter now, and her name is Skylar, and she's just about going on 2, right?
She's like 2 years old and like 2 months.
I remember when she was first born, I went over to your house, and this was a couple of weeks after she had come home, and Lindsay, your wife, saw that you and I were gonna go out and do whatever. We were going out having boys' night out. And she said, geez, wouldn't it be great if we could put Skylar in a medically induced coma for a month under doctor supervision, and then we could just go out and party and everything would be fine and we could drink Jaeger bombs or Irish car bombs and it'd be great. And then we can come back and just wake her up and then start over then. She'd never know.
Yep.
She did say that.
She did. I was there.
What do you think about when your wife says things like that?
I think she's awesome.
I do too. I think it's hilarious.
I mean, I'm sure every parent at some point was like, man.
They don't say that out loud to their buddies' friends, though.
I know, but that's why my wife is fucking awesome. Dude.
Yeah, she really is.
Right.
And we're going to get, because there's another story that we're
Because I don't mean to cut you off.
No,
but
please
She
cut
is a
me
lot
off.
like you. She has no filter.
I've been trying to get her on this show. Nobody really, I mean, she actually kind of probably has a following, but not a lot of people know who she is. But she's really the Dan Tagnan that I wanted to get in here
Oh,
first.
I'm sure. Thank you.
Because she's definitely got some good thoughts going on in that head.
Oh, yeah.
You, circling back to the Tomatoes, and I would suggest that anybody who hasn't heard of the Tomatoes, they're an original band from New Orleans, a 3-piece, which was kind of a rock punk style band in my opinion. Go out there and listen to them. Find them on iTunes, on YouTube. I think y'all have 4 records.
Yeah. And I think there's like some singles, and we did a lot of shit.
Yeah, y'all were together 10 years. Y'all really were one of the original bands from around New Orleans at that time that really took the thing seriously. Y'all went on the road everywhere.
Yeah.
What was the furthest away that you ever went to play a gig, and what was the worst gig you ever played?
Oh, there's so many to choose from.
Of the bad gigs?
Yes. I mean, we went as far as, we played in Sanford. We did a whole West Coast run. So, one of the worst drives was we did a West Coast run where we did like, we would always start here and we'd play like New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette. We'd do like Houston, Austin, that run we did like Phoenix and then like Huntington Beach and LA at the Cat Club. And then like we went all the way up to San Francisco and then we played Vegas and then we packed our shit up after the gig and drove straight home from Vegas.
Yeah. That's a pretty dirty one. I remember you, I love hearing the Tomatoes road stories because the way y'all explain it, I'll bet that you wouldn't go back and do it again being who you are now at this time.
Probably being like a you know, all the adulting that I have to do now.
Right, but I remember you telling me a story about how y'all went to South by Southwest and played in a Mexican restaurant, and you had to set your drums up on like stones.
It was quite an experience.
Yeah, walk me through that.
So we go play South by Southwest, which is the biggest cockamamie bullshit festival ever in the history of all festivals.
Yeah.
You know, I would rather shove a hot poker into my pee hole than ever play there again. So it's a bunch of dudes walking around with fucking makeup on and, you know, skinny jeans, and it's a shit show. It's a total shit show. So we get there and it's like, you guys are playing South by Southwest. So we go to like all these parties or whatever. We, you know, it was me, George, and my friend Will, who played guitar and sang. And we would just go to these parties and get bombed, like just get shit canned. So it's finally our day to play after getting shit faced for 3 days. So we pull up to this club, and it's not even a club. It's a fucking Mexican restaurant.
It's like La Fiesta Brava.
So yeah.
El Paso.
So what they do is they heard all these bands together with dreams of grandeur. And they're
Dreams
like,
of guacamole.
right. I'm ready for
Margaritas.
my enchiladas now. And so they're like, well,
Senor Woody, your order is ready.
right, while I'm playing. So they, you know, you pay $300 or $400 just to be in the South by
Are
Southwest.
you paid?
I'm pretty sure we did.
Wow. Okay. Makes it even better.
So what this is that at South by Southwest, there's a bunch of like stages that are put on by record companies or record labels or whatever, you know, and that's where the bigger bands play. Well, what they do is they get all these bands that are regional or
Low-hanging
trying
fruit.
to get their name out, and they make them pay to play, and you wind up playing a mile and a half from where the big stages are at a fucking Mexican restaurant, basically.
Yeah.
So I get there, and we get to the back, and it's like there's like PA on a stick. It's like it's not even a good PA. Like you're not even gonna hear the vocals, you know. So
There's a tin cup and a wire that goes to
right,
each table.
right. It's just retarded.
Man, this drummer's killer.
Right. So I'm like, where's the stage? And they're like, the stage is right there. And I'm like, this rock, like this rock formation is where I'm supposed to set up drums.
Yeah.
And they're like, yep. So I throw my drum rug out and I put my bass drum down and I put the legs out. And for a drummer, you kind of take your front of your bass drum and tilt it up a little bit so it won't walk on you, so the legs are out. Well, I'll set it up and I put the legs out and I put my finger on this side of the drum and I do this and it goes, purr. And then I put it on the other side and it goes, purr. And it's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, dude.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
did you contemplate quitting music at that gig?
no.
No, it was fine.
No.
You rocked it and then you left.
I put one leg this fucking long and I put the other leg this long and that bitch was just right. And then I played my ass off and so did the rest of the band and then we packed our shit up and drove home.
Nice. Man,
But that's what you do when you're huffing it like
Yeah.
that. Like you know, all the local bands want to talk about a scene and like creating this scene, and that's all good and all if you want to keep playing in Metairie
Doesn't matter,
and New
though, right?
Orleans. The only way you get your shit out there is to get your shit out there.
Yeah.
So, you know, one of the things that I loved about that band, the Tomatoes, is that we didn't play here a lot. We
Yeah.
played Metairie once or twice a year, New Orleans once or twice a year, and then we would throw all our gear in a van and, you know, we would play Tipitinas on a Friday and drive straight to Chicago and play Chicago on a Saturday.
You told me there was a secret to trying to feel not so disgusting by cleaning yourself. What was that?
It's wet wipes.
Okay. Yeah.
And you have to clean this part of your arm, and this part of your arm, and then this part of your leg, and this part of your leg.
And then that just gives you the illusion of being clean?
Sorta. I mean, in your own mind, I guess.
What's the longest you ever went without a shower on the road?
Probably 5 or 6 days.
Oh my God. Dude, that is.
It's what you do. Eating bologna sandwiches.
I don't know, man. I would find like a neighborhood with a hose
Well,
or something.
we would usually go, like if we went on tours where there was a KOA in proper distance from where we were going, we would just go stay at a KOA and eat eat Blue Runner red beans out of a can, and then there would be a shower in there, and you put some aqua socks on, and then go take a shower.
But at that time in your life, at that age,
It was-
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
You're in a rock
it's great.
band, you're on the
Yeah.
road, you're playing. It's actually an experience that I wish I would have gotten to have.
Oh, yeah.
I never tried to do the band thing.
And we did it a little bit with Dirtiest Players when we were
Yeah.
in that North Carolina
Yeah,
run,
we
which
did,
was
and
fun.
that was the thing.
But that's the thing you did. You stayed at the club guy that said, you guys can crash on my couch. And
Okay.
that's, yeah, that's awesome. Oh, we just walked into an opium den full of pillows. We'll sleep here.
Was there
Like-
speaking of that trip, we stayed at a gypsy's house.
That was where the
Well,
opium den was.
Where the opium den. Was there ever a more strange group of people that you stayed with the tomatoes than
Yes.
we did that night?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Strange. Okay, I just want to make this clear. Dirtiest Players went to North Carolina, and we stayed in the band house, which was this guy who was a gypsy who juggled fire and like spun chains and lit bombs off, and the ATF
Cops showed up.
It was fucking sweet, man.
Yeah.
Wait, you hung out with stranger people than that?
Stranger only because of...
They tried to touch you?
No.
Show me on the wannabe
No.
where he touched
No.
you.
More because of ethnicity. We played a gig one time in San Antonio, and when we showed up, I think we showed up to the club, and the club was like closed or condemned. And then we wound up playing at another club, or maybe that was where we were supposed to play, and they wound up fucking loving us. Like that we would like just bust our shit out and not really supposed to be playing there and play.
Yeah.
And we stayed at some like Mexican family's house,
Oh, the food
which was
must have
sort
been
of
good.
crazy.
Right?
One time we played in Savannah with, Savannah's like an awesome city.
In Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we played there, and this guy Clay that was booking the bands, who subsequently moved to Baton Rouge and would book the Tomatoes in Baton Rouge after that. He had a house, and it was like June. And he was like, I'm not running the AC all summer.
Oh my God, what a dick.
And dude, like, it was like so hot. It was like the hottest I've ever been in my life, I think. That was kind of an experience.
Did you contemplate quitting music at that point?
A little, maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit. But there was like he had a dog, and Will was sleeping, and the dog like came running in the morning and just started licking the inside of Will's mouth, and like there was pretty, like we went and saw, like I think we found the longest movie playing at the movie theater and went and saw it just so we could sit
Schindler's List.
Yeah, so we could sit in the AC for 3 hours. Like it was, let's go see a review of the Dances with Wolves movie.
Oh, nice. Well,
So-
man, I'm glad you got to experience that. Everybody, go check the Tomatoes out. Who knows? They may make a comeback. You never know. Or maybe they'll come back with a rapper.
Right.
I don't know.
Could
Well,
be. Could be.
Well, I don't want to get too far along before we mention the buddies that we've got down here by the Natty Cam. We've got two sumo wrestlers down there. The remote control is underneath your chair. And I promise you, I have never gone into battle against anybody else yet. I gave you a crash course on how they work. So at some point in the next half hour or whatever, we're going to engage in battle.
That's fine.
And it's going to be on.
Okay.
Here's one thing that I know about you, Woody, is that you fancy yourself a sports expert.
I don't know that I would.
No, you put yourself out there as a sports expert, and actually you used to do another podcast where you were the sports guy.
Rooster.
You were the rooster who was the sports guy, and I think I see people coming up to you and talking to you about sports as if you have an understanding about them.
I do.
Well,
I mean, unless you're talking about like NASCAR or
yeah,
something like
exactly. So I figured we're in New Orleans. I would like to talk about the Saints for a second.
Okay.
What do you think about the Saints and their upcoming season? How does the team look for 2000 and whatever year that we're in?
I think they're going to be the same as they were last year.
Which was,
I think they were 7-9
man, you know me tell you
or
what,
8-8.
8-8.
That's what they're going to be again this year.
No improvement.
I don't think. I mean, they got too much money tied up in Drew Brees' contract. He's going to cost the team $30 million next year.
30
He
million.
is- He is 25% of the entire salary cap for the New Orleans Saints.
Well, don't you think he's more than? I think he's more than 25% important to the team.
I would venture to say so because he's the only one that can keep them in a game.
What?
Now they did do a lot of they drafted
Terribly.
well.
Look,
Come on,
all
dude.
I saw was the first draft pick, and it's terrible. 300-pound dudes do not make an impact in the league anymore.
Sure they
this is
do.
why. No, they do not. This is why I don't like the Saints fans, because they're completely delusional. 99% of people don't have any clue what it's like to be on a team, be part of a team, what it is at the formula that it takes to win.
I was in the band.
What band?
I mean, I was.
Oh,
a
you were in
band. I mean, I was never. I mean, I was on a team in Little League.
Yeah,
but
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the people that call the Saints radio station, and after that, and then you've got a quarterback who is one of the best in the league that could lead you to some type of Super Bowl playoff run again. You need to get pieces that surround that dude. The draft is for quarterbacks, wide receivers, and dudes who can sack the quarterback. You don't pick guys who do not have an impact in the first round. I could not believe that when they picked some lumbering 300-pound dude in the first round.
his name is Sheldon Rankin.
Well, congratulations, right? I don't think that's going to help them. You think that's going to help them?
Yeah.
What's he going to do?
He's a run stuffer. He's going to plug the middle.
Oh, my God.
But he can also play defensive end in a 3-4.
Yeah.
If they line up in a 3-4, which is 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers.
Yeah. Well, I
But,
don't know.
But I understand what you're saying, but they did pick a wide receiver in the second round, Michael Thomas from Ohio State, who's 6'3".
Oh, well, I
runs
don't
a
have that much
4.45.
patience to sit around until the second round.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
I know. So you
I
get
wanna
on here
see-
and you slum muck at my New Orleans Saints when you don't even have all the facts. And then they picked the safety also in the second round.
Look, here's
They
another thing.
need improvement on the defense. The defense has been 31st or 32nd in the league the past 2 years in a row.
See,
They've
you're-
been terrible.
Typical Saints fan. Typical Saints fan the fact that you don't understand that offense is what makes a great defense. An offense that can
hold the
control the
ball.
ball and score
I'm
is
with
what
you.
makes a good defense. F a good defense, man. We need to put points on the board. That's our style.
They've
That's
been
Sean
doing
Payton.
that. They lead the league in points every year, and they're 8-8. Your fucking argument is moot, bro.
No,
It is.
I totally disagree with
Drew
you.
Brees throws 5,000 yards every year.
Yeah, and it's always at the end of the game because they don't get moving until like the fourth quarter. So he'll throw 200 yards in the last quarter, and he just pads his stats. If he had some people around him,
I agree
by
with
that
you.
time, the subs are in on the defensive team, man, and it's over. And yeah,
You know why? Because our defense can't fucking stop anybody.
I don't know, man.
Come
Why
on,
can't he
dude.
get that damn thing off of his face?
Seriously.
Seriously.
Why you changing the subject, bro?
Well, no, I mean, I'll talk about.
So here's the thing. The
Okay.
Saints, in 16 games last year,
Uh-huh.
gave up an opening drive touchdown in like 11 of them.
That's the first quarter.
That's the first drive, pimp.
Yeah, but I'm saying there are 3.5 additional quarters after that point to play. Who cares if we get those stats like that?
So you're
are-
down. Listen. So this is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You're down by 7. Drew Brees gets the ball. They go 3 and out, and then the other offense scores again.
That's my
and you're
point.
Down
He
by
goes
14.
3 and out. You gotta you have to build up the team around Brees. I've been on a
Yeah, they
lot.
did make
Okay.
improvements. They made improvements on
I've
offense.
been on a lot of teams, Woody, and I can tell you that all of the successful teams
Don't
that
bring
I've,
your volleyball stats
I'm
to the
not.
football conversation,
I'm not,
bro.
and I did play full contact football in high school, and I was part
Where?
of fucking Ridgewood.
1A,
Like,
bro. 1A.
I think they may have, I think they're like triple C.
Who'd
or
y'all
something
beat?
now.
A Cole Classic
I'm
every
not
year?
saying I
That's
was,
it?
I'm not saying I was a valued asset at all. I'm just saying I get it. I know what it's like to be hit. It's terrible.
I'm
All
sure.
right? It hurts a lot.
Right.
Especially dudes
Right.
who really can hit.
Well, wait. Let me tell you about my experience in Little League football.
Oh, this is.
So I was playing football at Delta Playground until I was about 11 or 12. I went to tackle a
Bet you were
dude.
big for your age.
Probably not.
Good.
No, I was real small when I was little. But anyway, I went to tackle a guy and I bit through my mouthpiece and knocked both of my fang teeth out of the side of my
Oh
mouth.
God.
And then that was the moment I was like, man,
Drums are sweet.
I am way better at the fucking drums. Way better. And that was the last of my football days.
Yeah, I was too. I didn't like the high intent because I was a running back when I played.
Oh, yeah,
And I
you
was
got hit
good.
the whole game.
And I was quick and I could move. And I didn't mind getting tackled. What I didn't like was getting knocked the fuck out.
Right.
Which I did a couple of times when I was in high school. But I've been on a bunch of teams. And let me tell you what the Saints have broken like 3 cardinal rules in the last 2 years.
Tell me.
One, be on a team and be in the locker room or whatever you want to call it and see if anybody ever brings up getting rid of their best player. None of them do. To get rid of Jimmy Graham was a travesty. I gave up my season tickets. I've had season tickets for like 12 years with my dad. When they did that, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I don't care if he can block. I don't care. His stats are up there with wide receivers, and he's a tight end. 2, you don't draft people to support the best player on the team. And they did both of those things in the last 2 years, and that's why they're not going to be any good anymore. And I have a problem with Drew Brees now. One, I was serious. Why can't he get that thing off of his face? You know, you've seen when he's had surgery on it, and it's like...
It's a scar now.
No, it's not even. I saw him the other day. You want to know why I saw him? And you want to know why I saw him in HD? Because this dude was on the Ellen DeGeneres show and not at practice. He was on the Bear Grylls show attacking an alligator. I don't think he's focused. What you think about that?
I don't care what he does. As long as he fucking throws touchdowns. Dude.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's as in it. I think he's like, he's collecting the checks. He's out there being a movie star and, you know, I mean, I don't know if he's been in any movies, but you know what I mean? He's out there on TV, on Ellen DeGeneres and all. I think he's soft. He won that one Super Bowl and he's been riding it out ever since then.
I think what you're seeing with the Saints is the same thing you saw in basketball with Kobe Bryant. And that's...
What, complete and utter domination? A dynasty?
No.
2 dynasties? Kobe was always fucking hungry, and that's why...
Will you fucking let me finish?
Yes.
God.
Yes.
You're the only person I know that gets mad at somebody for their opinion. Like, no, dude, your opinion is wrong. Like, we're having beers and we're talking about Nirvana. Like, we're talking about Nirvana, like one of the best bands ever. And I'm like, dude, I really like In Utero. That's my favorite Nirvana record. No, bro, you're fucking wrong. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
I never said, well, I may have said you're an idiot.
Yeah,
but that's
you
what I'm
did.
saying, yeah. So, yeah, it is a bit of a catch-22 that
What I'm saying is that
I don't like people's opinion, and then I complain that people don't like mine. I get it.
when you have an aging superstar, and you can say whatever you want to say about Kobe Bryant, he was an aging superstar the past 2 years.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yes.
Before that, maybe a year or 2 before that.
What happens is, for you to repay them, for you to pay them for bringing such a dynasty, I mean, really, since Drew Brees has been here, it's been the best 10 years that the Saints have ever been, correct?
Oh, without a doubt.
They
Not
are
even close.
repaying him when he is not worth that kind of money anymore.
And that's why they're bad. And
I
that's
think-
why the Patriots are good every year.
No, I think
Because
the Patriots. I think what the Patriots have over the Saints is that they draft well.
Yeah, they do.
They have figured out a way to draft well while paying Tom Brady what he deserves and still be able to be relevant in the NFL.
Well,
Also, everybody wants to harp on this Tom Brady takes a pay cut bullshit. You know, if my old lady was making $60 million to put her tits in a bra every year, I'd be okay with taking a pay cut
I wish she would
too.
put her tits in this bra right,
Right.
here, right? Woo, she's hot.
That's all
You're
I'm
right.
saying.
To know that if Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen got divorced, he would be getting alimony. That's
dude.
funny.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, yeah.
So look, let's get back to something that you know about, drums. Okay, we have a lot of discussions when we go out of town, and there's been a couple of times that you've made the statement that the mecca for drummers as an instrument is in New Orleans, where we live.
Yes.
What makes you think that? Why do you think that? Why are drummers specifically? Why are there so many good drummers that come out of the city compared to anywhere else?
I don't know that it's a tangible, specific thing. I think that no matter what kind of music you play, if you're from here and you live here and you grow up listening to Mardi Gras music and wild Indian music, and the amalgamation of how.
Holy shit. Go ahead.
That's a big word,
Ding,
huh?
ding, ding, ding.
Right.
Yeah, nice.
The amalgamation
Yeah.
of the way music was created here, from, tribal drumming from slaves, to it becoming jazz, to it becoming rock, to it becoming whatever, the people play down here. That's a lot of different ways to approach an instrument such as drums. And it's all based on drums. There are so many good drummers here that people, I can go ask, some drummer that's in an original rock band in Metairie, and he won't even know half the dudes in this city that are killer.
Where do you rank yourself? I'm asking you that. Look, don't roll your fucking eyes at me, dude. Like, why is that a weird question? But, we were talking about this before the show, Shice and I were, that you've basically been on the show more than anybody else is, because I talk good about you all the time.
Thanks, bro.
I think you're awesome. I try to watch other drummers. I don't know anything about the drums, but I know what I like to see. Where do you rank yourself in New Orleans right now? You're pretty much in your peak right now. Where do you put yourself at?
I think that growing up as a musician and you growing up as an athlete is two different ideologies of how your world works.
But I don't understand why you
Just
can't.
let me finish.
This is why I asked, what's it like to be my friend?
Right.
Because
It's pretty stressful.
This is the weight that you've taken on
Right,
by
right.
taking me in.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Athletes are very, very competitive. They want to know if I'm number one in the world. Like, if you're the guy that runs the 100-meter hurdles at the Olympics, you're number one. Like,
Yeah.
you're the badass of that country. When it comes to music, for me, I'm just trying to do, I want to do the things that I do as well as I can. I want to teach kids how to play drums as well as I can. I don't sit here and compare myself to other drummers.
I don't
because
believe
it's
you. I don't
because
believe
it's
you.
silly. Well, then don't believe me.
No, because
it's
I
silly.
don't believe you. I don't believe you because I know you, and you are competitive, and you do get on a stage with the mindset that you're gonna slay everybody around you.
But
So sometimes you have to think.
But
about
every drummer does that. Every drummer has to do that.
Yeah.
It's part of playing the instrument. You teeter on the line of being a cocky prick and, trying to be good at your instrument. You're the timekeeper.
You know what this conversation makes me want to do?
Punch me in the face?
No, because I would never do that. But I want to sumo fuck you in here in a second. So let's do this thing now. Let's just do this thing right now because you're making me mad.
We'll talk more about it.
No.
after this.
Oh yeah. You better believe we're gonna talk. All right. Let's get this thing on. So okay, this is gonna be. Wait, you starting already? I gave you a crash course. The couple of times that I've done this, I like to name my guy. What would you like to name your sumo? Chuck. I'm gonna name my guy Blast Fingerton. That is going to be his name.
That's pretty good.
Right, Blast Fingerton.
Right.
That's pretty good. So,
Can I change my name?
You can change your name.
Bill.
Perfect. Okay. No, your guy. You know what? That was shitty. Blast Fingerton versus Kareem Abdul-Jabroni. That is your name. All right. And on the count of three, basically the idea is one guy has to knock the other guy over. When he's off of his legs, he wins.
Right.
So let's go. 1, 2, 3. Get him. Yeah.
That quick.
What? What?
This game's rigged.
Where you at, Woody? Come on. That was like, okay, should we, you know what? If I would have lost, we were going to do 2 out of 3.
Oh.
But if there's, no, if I would have lost, so put it back. I will say that was probably, that was a bad idea.
That was like Mike Tyson versus Michael Spinks.
That was a bad idea
20
right
seconds.
there. Although now we could put them up on the shelf with Phil and I's guys over here. And I also.
So you're still undefeated.
I am undefeated. And I've been undefeated for a long time, and don't test me. So,
So back to what we were talking about
Yeah.
before you interrupted with this silly sumo game. Is that there are plenty of drummers that I think are way, way better than me. just to name a few,
Yeah.
would be some of my favorite
If you-
drummers in
hold
New
on.
Orleans.
No, I don't want that.
Okay.
If you had to, if your feet were to the fire and you had to say, this is the best drummer that is either in or produced by New Orleans right now, who is it?
The best?
The best.
Man. I would say Jeffrey Jellybean Alexander.
You know, if you got a nickname like Jelly Bean, you're pretty good.
He
Who
is
is this guy?
He played. He plays with everybody, but he played with. I know him from the drum shop because he comes in the shop all the time. He's just one of those dudes that he taught me a lot when I was younger about being a professional musician, just by talking to him, not even by listening to him play.
Is he one of these Bourbon Street guys?
He played on Bourbon Street for a long time, and then he played. I can't think of the guy. He's been John Cleary and the Absolute Monster Gentlemen. He
Okay.
played with for a long time.
And did you ever do your time on Bourbon Street?
I mean, not so much to where I was playing with a band every single day down there. How
Yeah.
a lot of guys do, like Monday through Friday, or Friday through Tuesday. I played with a band called Showtime out there with Jack. Jack was playing guitar. Like 2 nights a week, 1 night a week, I would sub for their drummer, who was named Sean.
Because recently I've been talking to some of these cats that play on Bourbon Street, and they do that for a living.
Yeah.
Like that's what their job
Yeah.
is. Why don't you jump into that and
Because I can make more money teaching. And it would like cut into my teaching schedule because I would have to be on Bourbon Street by 7:30.
gotcha.
I teach Monday through Thursday from 3 in the afternoon until 8 o'clock at night.
Here's another question, Woody, that I've been curious with about you. We're lucky, I'm lucky that I get to be friends with some super talented guys, and we know some people who have caught on and end up being in bands that are signed to labels and tour internationally. What's kept you from catching on with somebody like that? Because you definitely are talented enough, right?
I would think so. Yeah.
What's the difference between someone that catches on with somebody like a Mark Broussard and goes and tours and makes it a living, and what stops you from doing that?
I think the biggest thing is it's so cliche to say it, but a lot of it is being in the right place at the right time, or knowing the right people at the right time, and stuff like that. I will never question my ability to play the instrument. I just won't. But if you're not playing the right gig when the right guy is there to see you playing the gig, then it doesn't happen for you. But a lot of people would say, well, you're a musician for a living, but you're not famous, and you're not making shit tons of money. That doesn't matter to me. I make a living doing exactly what I'm good at and exactly what I love to do. So that shit doesn't matter to me.
And you're
Not that I wouldn't mind being on a tour bus
Right.
instead of a rapist van when I'm on tour.
or on tour with our band where you're just driving me.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and so you got that, and then you also have an awesome wife who, man, the stories about her they are such legend that it's amazing. And there's one particular thing that I wanted to talk to you about. And
I already know what it is.
Yeah, I this is some funny stuff. So I'm gonna kind of set the scene. You're away at work, making bringing home the bacon.
Right.
And your wife is at home with the baby, and she was in bed, and I guess the baby was sleeping, and she had to pee.
I got the full story today.
Okay.
Because I warned her. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Cheese is going to ask me about this particular moment
so
in your life.
Tell me what happened.
So I think I was out playing a gig. This was when my daughter Skylar was probably a year old. And, when they're that young and that small, you sort of will do anything to make them either stay asleep
Or go to sleep.
or not wake up.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, that's sort of the same thing. But, you know what I'm saying, like not fall out of the bed and crush their skull into a million pieces because they'll do that.
They'll do that.
They're very, very fragile
Yeah.
when they're young.
Yeah.
So my wife's brother, my brother-in-law Danny, was staying over, and Danny had gone out with some of his friends, and he came over and he was like, "Can I crash on the couch?" He was sort of shit-canned. Well, that family is a little weird about the potty. Okay?
Yeah.
So just to set this up, Danny, I love you to death, but there are times when he drinks so much to where he'll just pee somewhere in your house and think it is a toilet. It doesn't matter where it is. It could be a record.
That's our next record.
Right.
My house is a toilet.
Right. It could be a speaker. It could be, oh, look, there's Skylar's bucket of crayons. Like, all of a sudden there's urine in it. So, so he was on the sofa, and Lindsay was in our back bedroom, our master bedroom, asleep with the baby. So Lindsay wakes up and she's like,
I'm sorry, keep going.
right. So Lindsay wakes up and is like, holy shit, I have to pee really bad. So the reason that Skylar was laying in our bed, Lindsay told me today, was that, because she told me this story again, which is just unfucking believable.
Unbelievable.
Yes, was that she didn't want to leave Skylar in her crib, in her bedroom, because she was afraid Danny was going to pee on her. So,
nice.
So Skylar's in our bed with my wife, Lindsay. Danny's on the sofa. So Lindsay realizes that she's got to pee, and she doesn't want to wake the baby up so the baby doesn't fall and crush her skull. So Lindsay tiptoes to our doorway and starts screaming for Danny to wake up. And Danny had been drinking, so he was passed out, because she wanted Danny to come in our bedroom and watch the baby so the baby didn't fall and crush her skull. So, excuse me, Danny doesn't wake up. So Lindsay says, I've got nothing else to do. I have no choice.
Go ahead.
All options have been exhausted. I need to pull my pants down and take this diaper that I have on the side of the bed and urinate in it.
Oh my God. And she did.
So, dude, this is all, you haven't even heard what I'm about to go into.
Oh, please.
So
So glad I brought an extra beer.
right. So she takes the diaper. She doesn't strap it up around her like it's a, you know, like one of those old people diapers. She just sort of holds it there while she's laying in bed and pees in it. It's my wife.
Wow.
Watch your mouth.
So
anyway, she pees into the diaper and then realizes that the diaper is you know, very, very fastly getting full
the
of urine.
baby's like this, and the diaper had to be
Right, it's a size 2
a stamp.
probably. Right. So she cuts it off, and she starts screaming for Danny again. He doesn't wake up, and she's like, "Screw it, I still got more pee." So she goes and puts my daughter into her crib, puts the dirty diaper on the floor or what have you.
on the floor.
So she puts the baby into the crib, and instead of going to the bathroom and finishing, which is what normal human beings
Don't
would
tell me
do,
she got another diaper.
she grabbed another diaper.
Oh God, this is so much better than I thought it was gonna be. Oh,
And she nestled herself back into my bed,
oh wow. That
grabbed the
is-
other diaper, and finished off what she had to finish off.
Ladies,
It's liberating, apparently,
If you-
according
yeah.
to my wife.
if you want to keep a man, like that y'all have. I don't imagine y'all ever being able to be apart from each other.
No, there's
y'all
no
are
way.
perfect for each other.
Yeah.
Not that you wouldn't be with anybody else, but y'all are perfect for each other. And right there, the fact that you don't think that that's totally
No. Wait.
okay. You,
Yeah, that's some heinous shit. It's pretty gross.
yeah.
But at the same time, she's my best friend, and I love her with all my heart.
That's I think she's awesome, and I think the fact that she was okay with. I don't know if we know another one of our female friends or wives of our friends that would have given you the green light to go ahead and tell that story, and then make sure you had all the facts.
Oh yeah,
right. Like
don't mess. Like I told her, I was like, I'm pretty sure she's gonna ask about the diaper story because you've told it to him, and I'm sure he's gonna want to hear it. And she was like, look. Don't mess up the story. Like
that's what makes
let's go over
awesome.
it.
Lindsay, I love you.
Right.
That's so awesome. Thank you for that. That's going to be, I'm going to make a little, like, as you know, every shows need like a best of the week or a promo.
Oh, yeah.
That's definitely, we're going to
be sure
chop
to use
that.
that.
Up.
You can use that every week.
Yeah. So we're George, we were talking about getting an intro. We need to just shoot her being in that diaper and we're good to go.
Oh, yeah.
So we're past 50 minutes on the show. George always gives me the high sign now, then. So at that point, I like to go into my original segment, which is 6 to 9 things about. So let's go rapid fire. 6 to 9 things about Woody Dantagnan. Number 1, you hate to rehearse with your bands.
I do. It's awful.
Why do you hate it so much?
Because I play drums all day long, and for me to come here and rehearse some songs that I expect you to know.
Who do you think you are?
Right.
Like, seriously, who do you think you are to where there's a band of 5 people who want to rehearse and you're the guy who's like, I don't rehearse? Like, what do you think gives you the right to say that?
It also depends on what it is. If it's like I'm playing a gig on June 24th with a band called Mothership that's doing a night of Led Zeppelin songs.
Yeah.
That band's got to rehearse.
Yeah, totally, I agree.
It's got to.
I agree.
Because although you think they're the greatest cover band ever, there's some intricate shit in their songs. So like you have to practice those. But if you're asking me to come here and learn OPP with Paper Chase, I could do that shit at sound check.
But be honest with me here. If the other guys in the Led Zeppelin tribute band were good enough, you wouldn't rehearse, or you'd do it like once, right?
I would do like a
good enough is not the right way to say it, but I'm saying if they were ready, you would not rehearse as much. You'd rehearse almost never.
Yeah, I would go through the set one night and then go play the gig.
And that's it. Really is amazing. Anybody, I think I was lucky to be in a band with you and guys like David.
Yeah.
Y'all taught me that early because I didn't understand what rehearsal and practice meant.
But we did what I like to do when I rehearse with a band is we didn't get together in a room and rehearse unless we had a gig. And we would rehearse once before the gig and then go play the gig.
So you want to know something that I noticed? The Led Zeppelin tribute thing that you're doing, it's not the original lineup that you had before. Why? What's different about it, and why is it different?
The way we did it before was, it was me, this guy Rod Fleetwood, who's an amazing bass player. So much so that like I remember practicing the first time with him, and like we played the Lemon Song by Led Zeppelin, and he played the bass, and I was like, holy shit, I got to go home and practice.
Yeah.
Like
really?
Really learn. Yeah. Because like he showed up and started playing, and I was like, fuck.
Tareed was in that band,
yes.
though, right?
Yes.
He's over the hill. You had to bring somebody else in.
No, not at all. What happened was Nick Angelica, who's the guitar player in this Mothership band, him and Chris parted ways. I don't really know the whole story about it, but Nick started a new Led Zeppelin thing called Mothership, and he got this kid. I call him a kid. It's just because he's younger than me. His name's Adam Pierce, and he sings for a band called Black Magnolia.
Wait, Adam Pierce is in this thing you're doing?
Yes, and he sings for that band. He sings his dick off.
When Kyle Thomas, which anybody who hasn't listened to the Kyle Thomas interview that I did, he was in Exhorter and just an amazing singer. And he's going to be coming back in here in the next couple of weeks. When I asked him about who was new on the scene that impressed him, that was the first name that he said.
Yeah.
So apparently this Adam Pierce guy is...
Yeah, he can sing his ass off.
Well, sweet. When is that going to be?
June 24th.
June 24th at...
Encore.
At Encore. So go check that out. It's going to be good. I saw it the first time. It was good. Number 2, you are a founding member of the FCDC Drumline.
Yes.
Which now plays at the Saints games during halftime, before...
Yeah.
How did that come about? Why did you start that?
I didn't really start it as much as I helped start it. Paul Guidry who's a friend of mine that plays drums for. He used to play for the Mixed Nuts a long time ago when they first started. He was like, let's put a drum line together, like for us older dudes that don't play drumline stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And we'll just get together. And it was basically an excuse for us to get together and drink massive amounts of alcohol and play drums at Lafreniere Park.
Yeah.
The first time we got together was August 21st in 2005.
Okay.
8 days later, Katrina hit.
Ah.
So we didn't see each other or do anything for like a year and a half. And then we just started showing up at like tailgate spots, playing some drums. And as soon as like dudes who are tailgating, who have more alcohol than they need to drink,
I know what it's like.
you know, a drum line shows up and starts playing, we take a break, and then all of a sudden, it's like they're feeding the drum line and getting us shit hammered.
Yeah.
So we would just show up at the Saints game before the game start and just walk around and play drums. Well, all of a sudden, the entertainment director from the Saints started hearing people say, "Who's the fucking drum line that marches around and has Saints jerseys on and like play?" Like a lot of NFL teams have like drum lines that play at the games. And like 3 or 4 years ago, they asked us to be the drum line.
So now you're
that plays.
basically kind of a part of the Saints organization.
Yes.
Y'all going to be back there this year?
Yes.
You're going to be playing at the half times of the games? Hey,
Yes.
check it out, the drum line. They're really impressive. I walked in a parade with y'all, and it goes over really well, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Check them out. Number 3, you've had the gout.
Yes.
What's that like?
It's awful. There's, I've broken my ankle. I've broken my, bones of my fingers. I've gotten stitches a million times. The gout is by far the worst pain.
And it's basically from just being an unhealthy human.
It's
You brought it
basically
upon
from
yourself.
being a fat, unhealthy human.
Which brings us to the next one, which is the person that diagnosed you or you went to, which is your brother.
Yes.
Your brother is a doctor.
Yes.
Is there any disappointment in the family about you?
This is my
since-
son, the doctor.
Well,
this
yeah.
is my son, the drummer.
Are there any parts of your family that are disappointed in
No.
you because you didn't achieve the level of success that your brother did?
No, not
So
at all.
they've never told you?
They basically just haven't told you that you're a total screw off. No,
Your brother, the doctor.
Right. I think a lot of the way my family was set up was that my parents were all about just making sure all their kids were happy, And my brother's happy being a doctor. I would have never been happy being a doctor. I actually when I first started college at UNO, I was like, I'll be a doctor just like my brother. He's 8 years older than me. I've been looking up to him since I was a small child.
Mm-hmm.
And I took my first pre-med biology, and I got like a 30 on like the first 3 tests. And like I kept asking the teacher, like, is this like a 30 out of 40?
Because 30 out of 40 is pretty good.
Yeah, that's like a B.
pretty good.
It's like a B.
That's
30 out of 50, that's like a C minus. She was like, no, honey, that's out of 100. So
And she said, you can't help sick people.
she was like, you might want to pick a different major.
Do you have any other interests?
Right. I'm good at the drums. I love the drums. Right.
So
So I didn't.
the last thing, other than being the family's disappointment, you teach Jesuits drumline now, and I think you just started doing that this year.
Yeah, last
What's that
year.
like, man? What's that like going and taking over a group of high school kids?
It's awesome. I mean, it's awesome in the sense that, like before this past year when I started working with them, they have a big band competition. It's called the LMEA Band Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And you go play it, a judge gives you a grade, and 1 is the highest grade. Well, the last 5 years in a row, the band, like the horn sections, have gotten a 1, and the drum line has gotten a 2. Like the last 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
2 is not superior.
Yeah.
Well, this year, under my tutelage, the drum line got a 1 and the band got a 2.
No shit.
Boom!
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you have to come in and kick ass right in the beginning?
Well, yeah, I mean, a little bit.
Even though they're kids, they're men, they're
Right.
16, 17, 18
Right.
years old. If they're getting a 2,
Right.
you got to come in and
Yeah. I mean, I had to come in and clean up some drum stuff, but they were, they're all really, really great kids, and it was easy. You just come in there and shit like, hey, you're not doing this right, and your hands look all messed up, and you don't look. Let's do visuals, and you teach them all this stuff, and they've never had a guy that was just there just to work
For the drum
with the
line.
drum line. So
cool,
like
man.
in rehearsals, I'm just out there walking around just with the drum line while they're playing, and it's like, come
With a
on, man.
megaphone. You suck!
No,
like
no,
that.
no.
Or
I
if
gotta
you need somebody who needs
Right.
to do that,
Call you.
I'm your man. Well, Woody, I'm glad you came in here and did this with me. I eventually knew we would. I know you'll be back on the show eventually. I'll plug all your stuff for you because it's basically just with me now. Come check us out, Paper Chase New Orleans.
Yeah.
We're having a good time going around and playing. It's fun. I tell you, personally for me, the reason I like being in that band with you is you don't dumb down or stop anything that it is that you do, and you almost bring it to the next level. There's plenty of fills and tricks, and there's some times where you're just laying in the pocket, but I'm glad you do that. I
Yeah.
think it's really entertaining. And I love you, man. I
love
really
you too.
do. I'm glad that for some reason we hooked up with each other because I don't know what I would be doing right now if I didn't have your friendship. I really don't. I'm glad that our other dead friend introduced us and brought us together
Right.
Right before he decided to,
It's a whole
Anyway.
nother show.
That's
Whole
the
nother
other
show.
But I love you. And,
love you too.
This is Wine and Cheese, and we'll talk to you then. All right.